So I saw this featured story on Twitter and the title was Chipotle fires manager after she asked customer to pay before being served. I thought it was strange right off the bat because I've been to Chipotle dozens of times and every single time I've paid before I've gotten my food. In fact, I've never received my food before I paid. That's what everyone does at Chipotle. They pay and then they get their food. Pretty standard. But the reason this story was being featured is because a Twitter user said, "Can a group of young, well-established African American get a bite to eat after a long workout session?" Chipotle tweets. And they posted a series of videos, including this one, where the manager accuses them of never having money to pay.
So what we gotta do? What we gotta do?
Hey, because you never have money when you come in
We
here, bro.
never have
money.
money.
That's
We got no money, bro. Look, can we just get our
I might just
food?
run off with my food today, bro.
Can we just get our food,
I
folks?
just might run off with my food today, bro.
Bro, apparently we ain't got no money. We ain't got no money.
Bro, you know me, I pay here every freaking day. I pay for
Bro, let's
my
not even worry about that. Can we get our food?
I didn't even see her before.
Well, I've never seen. This is some crazy stuff.
What makes this story even crazier is in now allegedly deleted tweets, the same user is accused and shown to have said, "This whole Chipotle thing backfired. Hey man, I think Chipotle catching up to us, fam. Should we change locations? And yo, what should we do about the other thing?" Dine and Dash is forever interesting. Multiple more tweets talking about dining and dashing, which is eating food and not paying for it. Pretty interesting stuff. Chipotle, of course, ignored all of this, did the social justice warrior politically correct, totally fake thing to do, and said, "What happened here is not how our employees should treat our customers. We are committed to treating all of our guests fairly and with respect. The manager has been terminated and the restaurant has been restrained so this doesn't happen again. We'll be back in touch." So they fired their manager for basically doing their job and having the people pay before they eat, like they do to every single person, regardless of their race, religion, or gender, when you enter Chipotle. Have you been to Chipotle? Have you ever gotten your food, sat down, and ate at a table before paying? I never have. Let me know in the comment sections if you have. This is just one of the many fake stories that Twitter has featured to tens of millions of people this week. One of them including a story about how a man at a play stood up and yelled, "Hail Trump, Hail Hitler." They published this story to tens of millions of people, featured it, showed it, made it look like it was Trump, Trump supporters, and the Trump administration that did this. And then days later we find out in the media that it was actually an anti-Trump activist who said this. So it was a Trump hater who said this. But that's okay, the damage is done. Tens of millions of people have correlated it to something that it's not. They'll never feature the retraction and the truth because Twitter doesn't do that. Almost all media doesn't do that. It's all for the clicks. It's all for the agenda. And sadly, for someone who's been a lifelong left-leaning liberal style person, I could say that almost all liberal media is misleading the kids on Facebook, Twitter, Google, and almost every social media and television platform. They're pushing this agenda of fake activism, fake social justice, victim mentality, which anybody happy or successful knows is a toxic mentality to have that will ruin your life. Victim mentality. That's what they push. That's what they teach the kids. And they teach you, if you don't have that sick, twisted, toxic mentality, that you're a bad, racist, sexist person and everybody and the whole world and the mob should come down on you. What's so bothersome about this stuff is that real racism, real sexism, and real xenophobia really does exist. So when you say that everything's racist, sexist, and xenophobic, you're actually covering up for the real racism that exists. And many of it, from a lifelong liberal, is now coming from the left. Martin Luther King talked about content of character and judging somebody by who they are. He never said that all people with a certain skin color are guilty and racist if they feel a certain way, and all people of another skin color are innocent and always the victim, and you have to pander and have multi-billion-dollar corporations lie on their behalf. That's not what Martin Luther King said. That's not true liberalism, but that is what's being pushed on Facebook, Twitter, Google, and liberal media. It's truly disgusting. And I see no one speaking out against it honestly. This type of stuff doesn't stop racism and make Chipotle better. It makes Chipotle worse. It's penalizing someone for doing their job, and it's rewarding somebody for not doing a good job. It's mass media insanity, and it's largely responsible for why our country is so divided, so confused, suicide and mental health is sky high, and everybody wonders why. I know exactly why. It's because the corporations, the company, and the media sources that we've put our faith and trust in that control a large portion of the information that we're allowed to receive are lying to us. They're misleading us. They're deceiving us, and they're forcefully pushing us down the wrong path to walk. It's not even really political. It's basic common sense, basic justice, and basic self-accountability. And I see absolutely none of it being pushed by these so-called virtuous, I'm better than you type left-leaning liberal people who I once looked up to and thought were truly virtuous. Now I realize they're the complete opposite, and they're sending this country spiraling in the wrong direction, downwards. This country has always gotten better and better for the generations following. I don't see that pattern happening anymore. My neighborhood is getting worse. It's getting trashed. Neighborhoods I have family in and that I grew up in are not getting better. It's all getting worse because this mindset, this ideology, which spans the minds of billions of people who consume this mass media and technology, are leading us in the wrong direction. They reward the wrong person. They punish the wrong person. If you have elements like this Chipotle manager of basic security, basic common sense, basic doing your actual job, you get penalized. The entire media comes crashing down on you. Why? Because they're playing the political correctness identity politics game, which is race, religion, gender. We'd rather pretend like we're a good person and pretend to do a good job than actually do a good job if we're afraid of some sort of backlash for telling the truth and actually trying to help people of all races, religions, and genders. And that's the truth that you should be hearing from mass media and big tech companies. But sadly, you're not. You have to hear it from me. I'm not a journalist, I'm not a detective, I'm not anyone special. I'm sitting in front of a green screen right now, in my apartment, doing the job that billion-dollar corporations should be doing. And I would love to see others follow suit, because if we don't turn this country around and we don't turn the mindset of this entire world around, it's not going to end up in a utopia like they claim. It's going to bring extremely hard times. And it's already hit many parts of the free world because of this mindset. Thank you for listening. Thank you for considering. Have an amazing day, and let's stop the nonsense. Let's stop the political correctness. Let's lead with true love, true compassion, true honesty, true integrity, true justice, and let's stop being so fake and be a little bit more real.